Assalamu alaikum. Right, we're gonna start off with the next question on the algebraic fraction videos. So this is question number 3. We've got again two fractions, 5 over x minus 3 minus 4 over x plus 3. Again, we cannot add or subtract any fractions unless the denominators are the same. So because they're not the same, we are going to make them the same. In order to do that, we're going to start off by multiplying the fraction on the left, top and bottom, by x plus 3. So let's write down this fraction, 5 over x minus 3. And because there's more than one term, I'm going to put this in brackets. And I'm going to multiply it top and bottom by x plus 3. And since x plus 3 is more than one term, I'm going to put that in brackets too. So useful brackets. Okay, and I'm gonna subtract 4 over x plus 3. Again, I'm gonna multiply now, this time top and bottom, by x minus 3. So let's expand these. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 3 is 15 over x squared minus 9. Well, let me show you this whole expansion. The way I got x squared minus 9 was I did x times x, which is x squared. X times minus 3 is minus 3x, and then 3 times x is plus 3x, and 3 times minus 3 is minus 9. Let me just extend that line, minus 9. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is because I have to keep this as two separate fractions at this moment in time, I'm gonna leave the expansion of the numerator as it is, and I'm gonna expand the denominator, and I'll tell you that in a second. So the denominator will be the same, x squared minus 3x plus 3x minus 9. Now the reason I did not expand my numerator is because of this negative sign. So I am going to expand my numerator over here, but I will do that once I've written the whole two fractions with the same denominator, and you will see what I mean by that in a bit. So I'm going to have 5x plus 15 over x squared minus 9, because the minus 3x and plus 3x cancel out, minus 4 bracket x minus 3 over x squared minus 9. Oh, right. So what I'm going to do next is, can I fit it down at the bottom here? I'll try and fit it down. I'm going to write everything as one fraction, so I'll have 5x plus 15 minus 4 open bracket x minus 3, all of it divided by x squared minus 9. I'm going to split my board again as I have run out of space. Let's split it up. I won't continue on the right hand side. So now I'm going to open up my bracket. So I'm going to have 5. Oh, that's not the pen. I need the pen. Let's get the pen. Got the pen. Okay, so it's 5x plus 15. And then now I'm going to expand it. Minus 4 times x is minus 4x. And minus 4 times minus 3 is plus 12. All of it divided by x squared minus 9. Okay, the like terms are 5x and minus 4x. So I'm going to rearrange the like terms together. 5x minus 4x plus 15 plus 12. All of it divided by x squared minus 9. And 5x plus minus 4x is x. And 15 plus 12 is 27. So I'll have x plus 27 over x squared minus 9. Now I cannot simplify this anymore. I cannot cancel out any x's with x's. I cannot cancel out 9 and 27 or minus 9 and 27 because there is no multiplication going on here. So I will just leave this just as it is, and that's all I'm going to do. That's this question solved. Simplified. Done. Let's go on to the next one. Okay. Now this question can be solved in using index laws as well as just in the normal division. So in order to explain it, I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to write it as a fraction for the numbers 10 over 2 times a to the power 7 divided by a to the power 3 and multiplied by b to the power 4 divided by b. Okay, so 10 divided by 2 is going to give me 5 times. I'm going to use the index laws. So since the bases are the same over here, I'm going to subtract 7 and 3. And since the bases are the same over here, I'm going to subtract 4 and 1. Because b on its own is the same as b to the power 1. So that's going to be 5 times a to the power 4 times b to the power 3. That is 5 a to the power 4b cubed. And that's it. Okay, let's move on. Next question. Question number 5. Ooh. This is a long equation. Right. Again, we've got a fraction on the, we've got two fractions on the left, h plus 7 over 3 plus 2h minus 1 over 2, and that's equal to 5 over 6. So again, as I said before, you can't add and subtract fractions until the denominators are not the same. So my first step is I'm gonna try and get this left hand side, all of it, as one fraction, and on the right hand side I have one fraction on its own anyway, and then I'll try and cross multiply. That's my strategy in this case. If there were two fractions here, I would try and make them into one by adding and subtracting, and then trying to cross multiply as well. Anyway, let's get started. So I'll put the brackets in because there's more than one term in the numerator, and I'm going to multiply this top and bottom by 2, and this fraction top and bottom by 3. Let's just get started with the expanding. So this will be, let's change the color to white. 2h plus 14 over 6 plus 6h minus 3 over 6 is equal to 5 over 6. So write it down as one fraction, 2h plus 14 plus 6h minus 3, all of it over 6 is equal to 5 over 6, and 2h plus 6h is 8h, 14 minus 3 is 11 over 6 is equal to 5 over 6. Okay, at this point I'm going to pause, and you can see everything on the left hand side is one fraction. So 8h over plus 11, all of it is divided by 6, and on the right hand side we have 5 over 6. So when I have a situation where, what was that? How did that disappear? That's interesting. Okay, I get distracted. Okay, when we have 8h plus 11 over 6 equals 5 over 6, what I can do is I can cross multiply. The only time I can cross multiply is when I have an equation, and on the left hand side I have one fraction, and that fraction is not adding or subtracting anything, no other numbers, no other fractions. This is just one fraction, and on the right hand side I have just one fraction. That fraction is not adding or subtracting with anything, so I can cross multiply. What that means is I can multiply this 5 by this denominator, which is 6, and I can multiply 8h plus 11 by this denominator, which is 6. So let's go ahead and just do that. So 6 times 8h plus 11 is equal to 5 times 6. I'm gonna have to split the board. So I'm going to expand that. That would give me 48. Okay, I need to get my pen again. Right. 6 times 8h is 48h. And then 6 times 11 is 66. And then 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 66 both sides. So that is my, on the left hand side I'm left with 48h is equal to minus 36. Then I divide both sides by 48. So h will then be minus 36 over 48, and both of these numbers come in the 12 times table, so I can divide both of them by 12, which gives me h equals minus 3 over 4. That's done. Okay, let's have a look at question 6. Again, it's a factorization question, similar to the one in the first video. So I'm going to try and split my board up, factorize the numerator and the denominator, and then simplify it. If you want, you can pause and try this question yourself first, and then see if it compares. Oh, it's the same. If we get the same answer, okay. For those of you who don't know how to do this, I'm going to carry on. So my numerator is 2. I need my pen before I start. I don't know why I keep forgetting my pen. Right, so it's 2x squared. I have to write a bit smaller. Minus 3x minus 5. That's my numerator in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 2, and b is the coefficient of x, which is minus 3, and c is the y-intercept, which is minus 5. We're going to do a times c, which is 2 times minus 5, which is minus 10, and b, oh sorry, I forgot to write the multiplication sign, so I need two numbers that multiply to give me minus 10, and those same numbers will add to give me minus 3, so it has to be minus 5 and 2. Minus 5 times 2 is minus 10, and minus 5 plus 2 is minus 3, so minus 5 and 2. Right, to factorize, I'm going to rewrite my numerator 2x squared minus 3x minus 5, split the minus 3x into the two numbers, in any order. 2x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 5. I'm going to factorize u and u separately. So here we have x as the highest common factor. In the bracket I have 2x minus 5. In the other one I have 1 as the highest common factor, because 1, everything comes in the 1 times table. Right, so 2x minus 5 times x plus 1. That's my numerator factorized. So what I would do is make a quick note of my numerator as 2x minus 5 times x plus 1. All of it is going to be divided by, and what are we going to divide by? We need to factorize the denominator. Right, we'll do the denominator in a different color, blue. Let's do it in blue. Right, just quick line here to separate it. Wasted a lot of space on the right there. Okay, denominator is x squared plus 6x plus 5. Again, it's in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 1, b is the coefficient of x, which is c, and c is the y. B is the coefficient of x, which is 6, not c. I don't know what's happening with me. It's a bit late, so maybe that's why. And c is the y-intercept, which is 5. We do a times c, which is 1 times 5, which is 5. And b is 6. So we need two numbers that multiply to give you... Oh, I've got to write the plus sign here. We need two numbers that multiply to give you... what's the name? 5. Those two numbers add to give you 6, so that's 1 and 5. So I'm going to rewrite my expression. X squared plus 6x plus 5. I'm going to split this up into the two numbers, which is 1 and 5. So I'm going to have x squared plus x plus 5x plus 5. I'm going to split my board up again, carry on the right hand side. So I'm going to factorize these two over here and those two over there. So this will be x times x plus 1, and the other one will be plus 5 times x plus 1. And since x plus 1 is there in both brackets, I will write it down as x plus 1 times x plus 5. That's my denominator factorized. So my denominator now will be x plus 1 of multiplied by x plus 5. I can see there's two x plus 1s here. Because there's multiplication taking place, I can get rid of x plus 1 with the other x plus 1, which will then give me 2x minus 5 over x plus 5. And that's it. This is done. And now for the last question, which is this amazing question. Right, you have 4 minus x plus 3 divided by x squared plus 5x plus 6 divided by x minus 2. Alright, so when you look at this, it looks quite confusing. My starting point for me would be that bit. So if I can simplify that fraction, then I can divide it by x plus 3, and then I'll subtract it from 4. So my first starting point, I'm going to split my board. I'm going to try and factorize x squared plus 5x plus 6. And I need my pen. I have got my pen. So x squared plus 5x plus 6. We've done quite a lot of these, so A is 1, B is 5, and C is 6. A times C is 1 times 6. So two numbers that 1 times 6 is equal to 6. Let me not forget to do that. So two numbers that multiply to give you 6, and those same two numbers add to give you 5, 2, and 3 come to mind. So 2 and 3. So I'm going to rewrite my expression. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Split the 5x into 2x and 3x. And I'm going to factorize these two. So I'm going to have x times x plus 2 plus 3 times x plus 2. The two brackets are the same, so it's very likely to be correct. And x plus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, so that's my numerator factorized. So I'm going to start dealing with this bracket now. So that's going to be equal to 4 minus x plus 3, that in brackets, divided by x plus 2 times x plus 3, all of it over x minus 2. I'm just going to put a bracket around it as well. Okay, when you divide by a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal. To find its reciprocal, you flip it over. So that's x plus 3 times, where's the 3? Okay, x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 2. Well, I might need some space at the bottom. No, I don't need, so I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to just portion that bit off. Okay, where was I? Pen. Over x plus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, within the brackets I can cancel out that with that, because there's only multiplication taking place, there's no addition and subtraction. So when I expand it, it'll be this, sorry, when I simplify it, be 4 minus, in brackets, x minus 2 over x plus 2. Okay, so in order to simplify this, I'll just write 4 as a fraction, which is 4 over 1, and I need to make the denominators the same. So to do that, I'm going to multiply top and bottom. Can I do that? Wait, I'm going to try something. If I can shift this to the right, that would be great. No, the whole thing, please. Yes, that's excellent. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply top and bottom by x plus 2. Just saves me some space. Okay, let's go back to green. So when I expand this, that'll be 4x plus 8 over x plus 2 minus, remember, I am going to keep this in brackets. I'm not going to open the brackets unless we have everything under one denominator, and the reason we do that is because of this negative sign. If it was a plus sign, I don't have a problem not having the brackets, but if it's a minus sign, I'm going to make sure that the numerator is in brackets because there's more than one term, and there's going to be an impact on the sign changes. A lot of people are going to write this as minus and they'll not have a bracket and write x minus 2, and when you actually write as one fraction, you forget to write it as minus x and plus 2. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to split the board again. So I'm going to split it into like this. That's not a very good section. Let's carry on from here. Okay, need the pen. So we can now write it as one fraction. 4x plus 8 minus x minus 2, all of it divided by x plus 2. That'll be 4x plus 8 minus x plus 2. Minus and minus becomes plus over x plus 2. 4x minus x is 3x, and 8 plus 2 is 10. So it'll be 3x plus 10 over x plus 2. And that's my final fraction. Interesting. Can I simplify? No, I can't. I can't factorize 3x plus 10, so I'll just leave it as it is and not simplify. And that's that. End of this question. Hopefully you enjoyed that or learned something from it. Thank you for watching.